We have to build a massive $30,000 water-cooled desk PC, and we only have 2 weeks to get it done. Vinny is a master at CAD design, and we've built a lot of PCs, but this is still no easy task. Everything about it will be entirely custom, from the desk, distros, and of course the PC itself. But wait till you see the reaction when we show the customer the finished PC.
That's actually amazing. Y'all could have done a better job, honestly.
I have spent hours making this desk PC and we've been trying to get it perfect. We've redone it in white, which it wasn't originally, and on top of that, we've been planning this thing out piece by piece to make it perfect. We worked with the awesome guys at Xylem Designs to build this desk from the ground up. That means you can get one directly from them in any finish you can think of, from wood grains to solid colors and even different textures. You can check them out below. Before we put this entire computer together, we got to start with the distro. Just for context, this is a normal distro. This is actually pretty big and holds a lot of fluid, but our custom desk PC distro, which we worked really hard with Singularity to make, we had tons of meetings and I've spent hours designing the CAD from the ground up, making sure everything lines up perfectly. We've made sure that if you order a desk, you can go directly to Singularity for your very own set of distros for this build, with color choice for the bottom distro backing. This is the distro our desk PC is using, which we'll show you both sides here. We've got custom cable routes for everything. The motherboard mounts straight on top of the distro and so does the GPU. It's basically the heart of the desk PC. So this was kind of a measure 10 times cut once situation, and it worked out great. Before we get this distro in the desk, we're gonna finish up a few more things on it. We have a custom white backplate that goes on here, and we have to get the pumps installed, but then we'll get it all put together. Alright, so now that we've got the motherboard in, we're installing a 14900K from Intel. We're using a Thermalright contact frame to get a little bit of a better temperature while water cooling. Other than that, we have 128 gigs of G-Skill RAM running at DDR5 6400. Last but not least, we have two 4TB drives from WD that are both running at 7300 megabytes per second. Next up, we're going to install the cables because we want to wait and save the GPU for last. How do you even get cables for this desk? Well, we got these insane cables from Singularity, and look how long they are. They're a whole stylus tall. That is insane. But where's the power supply go? Of course they're all white, and they're connecting our CPU, motherboard, and GPU to power. We ran all of our power cables and we have some white I/O cables to run, but now we're moving on to water blocking our 4090 strips. So the next step here is really important. We're trying to figure out our airflow for the build. Right now, the plan is that we're taking in cold air on the GPU side and pushing the hot air out the CPU side. The GPU draws about double the wattage, so we should technically be optimizing the airflow there. Since we are dual loop, it's not going to even out through the whole build, so we have to optimize the best we can. We're going to do some airflow testing with the fog machine, and we're also going to check a couple more options like doing both intake where all the cold air goes across the radiators right away, but the hot air has a hard time escaping. That's the theory right now because there's only a few slots in the back for the hot air to go. Otherwise, we'll also try cold air in on the CPU side and out on the GPU side. Maybe it won't be heated up as much as the GPU side. So now we've got our 12 fans in and both of our radiators. One cool thing is we wanted these fans to look great from the inside and outside, so only half the blades are swapped, and we get a cool effect where we've got more air pressure because they're spinning opposite directions. Next up, we're gonna toss in our water block, which is gonna be performing great with our contact frame. After that, we'll put in our rear distros from Singularity. These things are awesome. We've designed the whole thing to fit multiple water blocks and GPU blocks, and all the fluid will flow through here great. Next up, we'll toss in our custom Elgato capture card. We've painted this thing white and made a custom backplate to match the theme of our build. Once that's in, we ran our 600mm Gen 4 riser to our 4090 graphics card. Next up is our loop. We'll start with our fittings fully planned out ahead of time with 20 hard tube fittings, 4 90s and 45s, a couple extensions, and 2 offsets. These can change to fit almost any hardware. We picked 16mm frosted tubing for this build from AlphaCool. It's pretty tough to bend, but absolutely worth it for this PC. I designed the loop to use only 90-degree bends, so on top of normal tubing, you can even use pre-bent metal and more exotic tubing. Just cut it to size, which is what we'll be doing now. Getting tubing installed is a tedious process. There's a lot to cut and check to make sure every tube seats perfectly into each fitting while staying straight. I worked my way from the longer radiator tubes and lower connection runs towards the middle where more adjustments have to be made for hardware. Different water blocks and orientations can change how things line up. Offsets are a key part of the build, but some of ours were directly aligned. Every build is unique. Before we fill, we have to make sure to install this sweet badge to honor this collab. Thank you again to Singularity for helping design these distros and putting them together. Now to fill this PC. Now that we got our water cooling done, it's time for some finishing touches, like our monitors, keyboard, mouse, and streaming setup. But before we wrap it up, let's see how strong our airflow really is. This build came out great and everything works smoothly as it should. Here's the completed desk PC. We got it done just in time, and thank you to Singularity and our desk manufacturer for making this possible. So let's go through what the finishing touches were. First off, we put this insane Ergotron monitor arm on. It supports 3 27-inch monitors on one arm. After that, we tossed on the 3 LG UltraGear OLEDs that are running at 240 Hz. They're all 2K. This thing looks absolutely beautiful. Next up, we tossed on peripherals and streaming gear because this is built for streaming. We have an Elgato capture card in there, and then we have our Sony ZV-E10, which is a great camera for streaming. Next up, we have this HyperX mic, and we use the ROG Azoth keyboard, and it's my favorite keyboard that's not custom built. We also went with an insane mouse. This is the Razer Basilisk V3. It looks super good in this build, so that's why we picked it. One last cool feature is these key lights from Logitech hook straight up to the computer, and you can control them through software and even sync them up with your games. Overall, this thing turned out amazing. You can move the monitors up and down with this handle, and the purple and pink fluid in the system look amazing. And obviously this is a standing desk, and it goes up and down really quick and goes very high and very low. Obviously you can see there's that 20 terabyte hard drive right above the touchpad, and it's a hot swap cage so you can switch it out anytime. And once again, you can order this desk for yourself and the distros from Singularity. If you want to build this yourself, then go right ahead. We're super excited to deliver this to our customer.
Yeah, man, that's just a beautiful desk setup. It's kind of, I don't know, it's speechless. It's awesome.
Me too, man. This thing will make you speechless when you see it in person. It's gangster. Like, it really is. It makes me jealous, honestly.
No, I'm stoked. That's crazy.
Yeah.
This is a 1 of 1. We'll see what happens if people want more of these desks. I don't know, but maybe it'll stay a 1 of 1. We'll see, you know, but.
No, amazing. I couldn't see why people wouldn't want it.
Just like and subscribe if you enjoyed the build, and let us know if you want us to build your next crazy gaming PC. Thanks for watching.